is Garrett Gard. I currently work for Bitner Henry Insurance Group. I've been in the property and casualty liability insurance business for about 11 years, and most of that I've spent focused on international nonprofits. The majority of 1099s for the agencies that we work with, they probably would not pass the test for a 1099. That might make some people upset and some hand-wringing, but it's just the reality of it. I mean, to be an independent contractor, the federal government has a specific series of tests that you have to pass, a yes/no questions, and most often they do not pass that. I mean, even from something as simple as one of the things is if you're providing computer equipment for them. So if you're a ministry and they're buying, even if you're not giving it to them, but they're using their raised funds that's going through your ministry to buy computer equipment, probably not a 1099. If they're using your licensed software on that computer, probably not a 1099. And that, just those questions alone make most people not actually a 1099, but really in the bucket of a W-2. And so I use this caveat because, okay, you're paying them as a 1099, but if you ever had to go to future litigation, would that individual employee's attorney be able to argue that they actually are a W-2 and are therefore entitled to benefits of a W-2 employee? Probably. And so even if you're standing behind their 1099s to protect yourself from the liability for those individuals, probably not going to pass any sort of, if it was actually litigated. And then on top of that, most states, 1099, we run into this all the time when we do work comp for all kinds of classes of business, is that you can see 1099 contractors, if they're not carrying their own work comp, they can file it on yours, depending on what state you are, what happened. And so just because they're 1099 doesn't mean that they can't file a work comp claim against you or sue you for that, or they may not even be 1099s to begin with. So it's not really an adequate protection, especially when you talk about the kind of dollars that you could pay out. The largest claim I ever had for a missions organization was a work comp claim. It was $600,000 for an individual that passed away in a motorcycle accident. And the state they were from said that the spouse gets 13 year, when there's a workplace fatality, the state gives 13 years of lost wages. And so, that's a lot of times lost weight. If you look at that ministry in that case example, and a lot of times ministries, the kind of like the silver bullet to solve all this is fundraising, right? Like they can just go to their donors, they can make a case, those individual donors will continue to donate to cover medical bills and all this stuff. Well, this couple was older, and you're talking about you're now on the hook. The wife is going to move back home, and you're now on the hook to pay her husband's salary to the wife for 13 years. Think their donors are all going to sign on for that because the state told you that you had? Probably not. So you're going to be paying, this missionary's salary for a long, long time, straight out of your own pocket. So